Welcome to Therapy with T. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna do a reading today that's a little bit different for me on my side because the question is a little bit more open as far as like what messages might come through. So that's one thing to know. So if you found this message, I do think it's meant to reach you. That's kind of how I do my intent, or that's what my intention is. So when I do these readings, my intention is to bring forth clear messages for helping, healing, and hope, and for the highest benefit of all involved. And I ask that you give me permission or consent to have my team speak to your spirit team so I can bring through messages. So if you'll give permission and consent, that's something you can kind of breathe on, or while I'm shuffling, think about it. So if you haven't done one of these before or been to seen my channel before, I do similar. I'm going to pick 3 cards. You'll pick whichever card you're the most drawn to, or the one that gives you the most like if you feel like kind of not even repulsed by it, but put off by something, whichever one is the most emotional response from you, or you feel very drawn to it. So you'll pick. The timestamp is in the description box below in the video, so you can just go to the reading that you want. And the first one will be pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. And then I'll meet you at your reading. You can also just stick around and to this intro part. It's absolutely up to you. So I already cleansed my space, but I'm just gonna do it again. Incense. All right, so I'm using frankincense and myrrh just to kind of intentionally think about like a clean slate, empty canvas for this reading. All right. And if you hear sounds coming in and out, that is my foster dog, and he gets to be here. So, okay, let's see. I've been shuffling this. I forgot to even say what the question was. Love that for me. So my question today for us is, what lesson is the universe helping you learn? So I truly believe that we are like in Earth school kind of, and we're just trying to learn to be the best humans we can and control emotional regulation and kindness and try to be good to each other and do service. Anyway, so that being said, if you don't feel like if that's not connecting to you, I would assume that if you find that kind of language does connect to you. If it doesn't, transpose universe for something else like God, karma, reality, life, whatever makes sense to you, that can be your title. So first card's going to be blessing. Pile 2 is going to be awareness. Cool. Pile 3, fulfillment. So you are going to pick whichever of these cards you feel drawn to, and I'll meet you at that reading. So you have blessing for pile 1, awareness pile 2, fulfillment pile 3. Take a moment to look at those and pick whichever one resonates with you the most. I'll give you an up-close look at them. Sorry for the wobbly camera. There you go. Take a moment and I'll meet you at your pile. Welcome, pile 1. If you chose this card, blessing number 6, then this is your reading with the question of what is the universe helping you to learn. And I mentioned earlier, you might have just passed through the intro. I mentioned that I'm trying to do, this reading feels differently to me because I'm trying to get really specific or clear messages, asking, like opening to the universe for that, as opposed to saying, like asking a question like, are you on the right track? Or So this one, or I guess I'm just feeling more vulnerable about this reading for some reason. So maybe whoever found this, you've been feeling pretty vulnerable. So anyway, you got the blessing card. I'm going to put this over here. I hope you can still see that in shot. And if you can't, that's okay. I'll bring it back out at the end. And let's see what comes through. So pile 1, hopefully you have given permission and consent for me to do this reading for you, and for my spirit team, thank you so much in advance for helping me. I usually pick all of my oracle cards first, but this is very many oracle decks that I want to use for this, so I'm going to do tarot first and then I'll do that. So okay, while I'm shuffling, I will maybe be like not talking. So if that's a first reading for you or not, you can breathe through it. You can, you know, think of the question, what is the universe, or sorry, what lesson is the universe helping me learn? Or you can kind of speed ahead. But I feel like if you speed ahead, you kind of miss the whole vibe. Okay. So I'll show you as I pick them. You have Princess of Wands, which is the pages, I believe, in this deck. And then I'll give you a synopsis at the end. 8 of Pentacles. And I'm going to use multiple decks. Do I want to use? Okay. Sometimes I'll have this whole plan and then I'll get here and I'll be like, wait, I did it backwards. You have the Creatrix, which is the Magician. Page of Pentacles. Next to the 8 of Pentacles. Page of Wands. Okay. Pile 1. What lesson is the universe helping you learn right now? You have Knave. I'm pretty sure that this is the Knight. Or is it the Page? I think it's a Page of Cups. I'll look that up in a second with this deck. This one. King of Cups. So it's either Page or Knight of Cups to King of Cups. So that is a difference. Let me look at that right now. Let's see. Just want to be clear of the knaves. Ace. Yeah, pages. Okay, knave is the page. So Page of Cups to King of Cups is interesting. It shows like a gradual increase or consecutive, like something starting at the beginning and then having an ending. Can also be like a student of something becomes the teacher, or you become the master of it. Sorry, I'm just reading this really quick. Interesting. Okay, so let's keep going. Pile one. Universe lesson. What lesson is the universe helping you learn? Pile 1. Ace of Pentacles. Again, did you get Ace of Pentacles? No. Page of Pentacles. Stability. 5 of Swords. Okay. Page of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, Magician with Page of Pentacles. Page of Cups, King of Cups, Ace of Wands, Five of Swords. I'm sorry, Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. There's something about that. Some of you might be turning 18, and that's like a big deal right now because it feels like maybe our culture expects you to be an adult and you're not feeling quite confident in that. Or starting out as like, okay, suddenly you turn 18 and you're suddenly an adult. What does that mean? So that's just some of you, obviously. Again, I'm getting like a younger than myself energy, like college, grad school, PhD, something like that. That maybe some of you have been working really hard to learn how to trust yourself and to recognize your own ability and power. And even if everyone around you was saying how great you were at a skill, or you were getting A's and everything, you're the top of your class, this feeling of not necessarily knowing if you could trust that is coming through. So that would be for some of you. For some of you, take that in a different way, just more like if you've been working towards a skill set or a licensure or some type of goal that has like a very clear ending, like an SAT, an MCAT, something like that, there could be a lot of it's not even self-doubt necessarily, it's like healthy, maybe weariness, like, okay, well, I don't know, did I just learn enough? That same feeling of like, am I really an adult just because I turned 18? Do I actually have these skills? Like, if you just got your licensure for counseling, let's say, or you've done your supervision hours, and now it's like, okay, now you're on your own to start your practice or to take clients, and there won't be the same level of supervision anymore. You're starting your own practice. There's like this fear of like, wait, am I actually ready for this? Is this the right thing? Like, am I an imposter? So there's kind of that vibe coming in. So the next part of this is that you're learning to manifest. So you're learning to figure out how to create stability for yourself. So I can see these connecting. It's like you're maybe starting a career or changing something up. Again, these are all examples because this is a general reading. So if this doesn't resonate with you, it's not for you, and you can just move on to a different pile or to a different video or a different reader. But again, like, just know that I'm hoping lots of people can see this that are meant to see this, and so it's gonna affect each of you differently, and you'll have different lives, right? So, but that's what I'm seeing. So this idea of then you're working on this learning how to take care of what you have with this ability to manifest. So with the Magician, it's just this really, for me, that card is all about like, hey, look down at your table, and on that table you have every tool you need to do the job. That's it. You've got it. You have every tool you need to do the job. You're learning how to take care of what you've built or have. When you are feeling imposter, when this kind of thing is happening, when you're feeling like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not, like, now I'm the expert, like I'm the teacher, I'm supposed to be the one doing the advice or giving the final go ahead, whatever that is, know that the universe has been trying to show you that you really have what it takes, and you have everything at your disposal. It's just more of, can you, like, have you noticed it yet, and can you really accept that, like, you have it? And so this is, you're learning how to take that resource, recognize your own power and value and ability, right? So it's hard and scary. And with the Page of Cups, again, it's like this understanding of loving yourself and self-love, and understand and how you connect to others, how you interact, how you have healthy relationships with other people as well. So it's like a lesson that's maybe kind of being woven through both your professional life and your personal life, this idea of trust in yourself and knowing that you can have healthy connections in your relationship. Again, this idea of just trust makes me want to pull a card from this other deck. Maybe I will. Anyway, this feeling of just like trusting yourself, and not just on a fool's errand, but because you've done the work to be able to trust yourself. Again, with the creatrix, which is the magician, like you have the tools. It's also a card of manifestation, which sometimes manifestation for my brain, like for my brain to really like be able to use it as like a verb, to use it as like an action. I think of it more as like, you know, we all tell ourselves stories about our lives or who we are. It's telling yourself a story over and over and over as it is real, living in what that would feel like, so that it's like real. It's a story, but you're living in that story. So tell yourself, like, I've got this, I can do this, I am capable, I am able to do this. And it's not ego, it's lived experience. King of Cups is one of my favorite cards, but also it's because the mastery of a suit, in the sense of, this isn't coming from an ego or me thinking that I'm better than someone else. This comes from me using what I've learned as I've lived as my reality and my understanding of things, and moving in that direction of it. So let me say that differently. The king is like the mastery of the relationships and the connection and emotions and feelings and how we talk to people, right? So that's the cup suit, and it's the king, it's the mastery of that. So going from page to king would be saying, like, you have stepped up, you've leveled up, you can move up to this. The universe is trying to show you that. But with that comes, and I think I just lost my train of thought, but with that comes this idea of like, you can't just get external validation and be like, okay, well, one day it'll be enough external validation that it'll finally fill me up and I'll feel good enough. It doesn't work that way. So part of this is you need to put in work too. It's like, okay, universe is doing 50%, let's say. Now you have to do 50%. That's a silly number, but that's what I'm saying. That's like the idea of what I'm saying. Then you have the Ace of Pentacles with the Five of Swords. So aces are beginnings, the beginning of something with pentacles. So pentacles, again, can be a material thing. It can be money, it can be stability. To me, it's like safety and resources. For this card though, the Ace of Materials with the Five of Swords, you are deciding. You're deciding. You know how, like, okay, here's an example. So the Five of Swords is like, did you win the fight or did they win the fight? Like, who came out on top here? There was some type of conflict or battle or situation, and the way we always see things as people is like, there was a winner and there was a loser, right? So the example would be like, I'm thinking of something that's not super heavy, but like, let's say for a long time, okay, let's say your parents got divorced when you were like 10 and you had to move like from one coast to the next every summer, or you were swapped like ping pong ball, and it sucked and it caused issues with abandonment and trust and feeling like a burden, things like that, let's say. But as an adult, you realize that you're actually pretty grateful for the experience, for some of those experiences, because it taught you how to travel on your own, and it taught you how to be more able to talk to people you don't know. Excuse me. I don't know, something from that experience created a strength in you, a power and ability in you that you wouldn't have had without those types of situations to kind of like have to figure out. And I'm not saying that it's okay that, you know, hard things happen. I'm just saying that the universe uses those things as lessons, in my opinion. So this is saying like the beginning of that growth, where you could look at it, the universe is trying to say, like, you could look at it as, this made me worse, and this messed me up, and that's the story you tell yourself. Or you could say, you know what, it made me really, really capable, and it made me reliable, and made me be on time, made me trust myself to travel by myself, which is kind of an amazing independent thing. So it's not, again, you're not taking away from any hurt that the inner child you had from that situation. You're just saying, however, now that I'm an adult and I get to deal with all the, repercussions from this, I choose to now be like, you know what I learned from that? This is what I learned from that. And that was actually a blessing for me, because I feel very strong and confident traveling. So that's one example. I hope it makes sense, and you can use that to like put your own personal experience on that. But yeah, like thinking about blessing as well. Like, I know it's annoying when people are like, oh, you're so blessed, or that it's a blessing in disguise. But actually, if our life is earth school, right? If we're on earth and we're like having to learn to be good people, let's say, then that blessing a lesson is how you get to the top, I guess, or how you continue forward. It's how I always liked getting A's in school. Like that's the kind of thing. It's how you level up. So the universe is telling you a couple things, but it's really cool because it's really giving you a path. I almost feel like I don't need all of these oracle cards, but I'm going to do them anyway because they're all out on my table. So that's what I'm getting here. The universe is kind of saying like, there's some imposter syndrome fear, letting you know what they want you to understand is that you have all the tools to do this. You can trust yourself, and you can trust that you have this skill and ability. And the universe is trying to help you learn to master that emotion, the regulation, and go from page to king. And help, and trying to show you that by looking at some of these things that you might have looked at as a loss, as maybe a lesson, instead of a loss, it's a lesson, it starts to open up this other idea about yourself, and it helps you build this trust about your power. Does that make sense? I really hope so, because it really makes sense to me. And it's really how I've kind of healed some things in my own life, is being like, okay, well, what lesson is in this? And like, not to get an A+ in school, but to feel better, to feel less suffering, to feel less like you don't belong, to feel less like you aren't good enough, that kind of stuff. So you can focus on more important things. Okay, I'm just gonna pick out all of your cards. Atlantis, how interesting. So to me, Atlantis is like this mythical city that people say, well, yes, it's a for real place. Other people say, no, it's just like a myth, just like, all the gods and goddesses and stories of old, that kind of thing. When I think about Atlantis, it's about a secret civilization that was lost under the sea, right? It crashed into the sea, or I can't remember the word for that, the destruction of that. And coming back to this, it's like universe is saying like, you have magic in you, you have ability in you, you have power. Let's use power. You have power in you, even though it feels uncomfortable to say I'm powerful. That's what the universe is trying to say. Like Atlantis, like lost to the sea, you've maybe held that down for a long time for whatever reason, and we don't have to go into like child trauma, but a lot of us come from that area. This dampening of this, and it was just like right under the surface. It wasn't like buried super deep. So it's saying like, you've always kind of felt it, and this is like, trust that and allow that to come out. Trust it. You're not telling yourself a story that's not real. That's what I feel for that card. Let's see what else for pile 1. The universe trying to tell you. Live in the moment when you are What you are looking for is with you. Yeah, again, this is what I'm saying, like you have it. Look at this card. Can you see? It looks like this figure has their hand to their heart, and then there's just like this bright light shining out. And I feel like there is a power and a magic in you that you've been afraid to kind of recognize or talk about or tell anyone about, that you've always felt possibly since you were young. And the universe is saying it's not just in your head. It's just under the surface. And you get to decide now if you're going to see that as just like this niggling doubt, or if you're going to see that as like some kind of energy trying to come out of you. So that's what I'm getting there. Very cool. I'm very much appreciating my team for making this clear for me. It's all about me right now. I don't know if you're going to watch this. All I can do is hope, but I always like to really entertain myself too. Like, you should be your own best friend, like really enjoy your own company. I feel like that's a really big one too. And you know, that takes this kind of a process of like, okay, I am not this body. I am not all my struggles. I am not the abuse or trauma I suffered. I am not the medicine I take. I am not the chronic illness that I have. Simplicity. I'm going to read this from the book. White feather. To find a sacred simplicity and have clarity in your life, do only what matters. Release everything else. Simplify your life. Scan all areas and clear both internal and external clutter. Rest, rejuvenate, and only participate in what is truly important to you. Relinquish everything else. Do not delay. Do it now. When your life is cluttered with objects, relationships, time constraints, and emotions, there's no room for spirit. There's too much static and too much stuff to connect to your soul. The smallest amount of clutter clearing can make the biggest difference. That feels like too, when I was saying like just below the surface is this like ball of energy, like light of yours that has been kind of contained for a while. And so to simplify your situation, and if you are coming out of school or working towards licensure, it's maybe just the universe trying to give you a heads up like, hey, you've been very focused on this and we have your back and we support you, but you need to make some room for this part of you as well to emerge. I mean, you did all this work, you went to school, you did the licensure, you did this, like now, okay, make some room for it to emerge and come to the front, to the forefront. Okay, I'm gonna pick some of these. And then I feel like this is really clear. The universe is really speaking. Okay, you have this picture, which I feel like is like if you were ever in theater or drama, before your cue, you kind of look out of the curtains on stage. So this feels like, again, it's like take your place on stage. Take your mark. The light's gonna come on, like it's time for you to shine. And what does that mean, right? Like what does that even mean? Time to shine? It just means that trying to do some work on recognizing whatever that is been inside of you that you have been weary to let out, weary to recognize, weary to put name to. It's time to do that now. And then you have like this crazy train going through, and you see all these different like locations or different topographies. I don't even know what topography means. Anyway, you've got mountain and beach and city and farm and like ski slope, mountain, train, so movement. Yeah, again, like with this, I was saying, even just the smallest amount of clutter, like even if you just go through your closet and get rid of anything that you haven't worn in the last 2 to 3 years and just put it in a Goodwill bag or something, will create some movement and declutter to the situation. I just get this feeling of just like that you have some like, what is it? Analysis paralysis. Like you don't know where to start, so you're just not doing anything kind of vibe. I'm not saying you're not working really hard or doing your work. It's just this idea of like, okay, well, I don't know where to start, so I just won't do anything because you just feel like overstimulated by it. It's so overwhelming. So again, doing a small thing, I don't even want to keep it here. I'm going to cover that up with this train moving, is just to, you know, do one small little thing to make some like physical space in your home. Like energetically, it changes things too. So get rid of stuff that you don't need or use anymore, to be more connected to what you really want and what your heart really is saying. But you are being totally, like, your team is with you and they have your back and they are with you in this, whether it feels alone or not, and whether you notice it. It's like every time there's a big storm, they do have an umbrella over you. It doesn't mean that you don't get wet still. And then you have well-being. So yeah, again, that's their biggest goal. Like the universe is saying, like, please learn this lesson that we love you. We want you to be happy. So we want you to love you too. We want you to recognize and see what we see, so that you'll treat yourself better. And then their job won't be as hard, right? Because maybe they're putting in 80% and you're doing 20 of the self-care, and now they're saying, can you take some more of that on and kind of see this more as how amazing you are and how strong you are from what you've learned and from those things that were hard. Look how cool you are. Look how strong and capable. Okay, that's what I'm getting. I am going to stop there and put the blessing card here again. And hopefully that felt right to you guys. I feel like picking one more card from the tarot over here. All right, Spirit team, can you help? Is there anything else? Okay, let me just say, you have the World. How amazing. It's a completion. This is a completed cycle. This is happening in, like instead of a gerbil on one of those gerbil wheels, like just running and running forever with no end. It's like there is a completion here. You're getting a piece of pie to your Trivial Pursuit game. And now you have a full pie. Like, that's what it's like. Okay, how exciting is this too? So the universe wants you to know that this is part of the process and part of your process and plan, and this is coming to a completion. So this is a sign also from the universe to say, we see the work you're doing and we know that you're working on loving yourself, and we're really happy. And I feel like they're doing that like heart, like, you know what, Taylor Swift concerts, when they do the heart with their hands, looks kind of like what this picture looks like they're doing with their hands, just like in support of you and saying, like, we see you, keep doing this. And we're just reminding you along the way to do some decluttering here and all the other things I said that I can't even remember now. So, pile one. If you liked this and you want to give me a thumbs up, I love it. If you want to subscribe to my channel, I get totally geeked out and excited. And if you wanted to leave me a comment and ask a question you'd like me to do a reading for, please do, because I'm, not that I run out of questions, because I have a whole list of things that I think about, but it'd be fun if there's someone out there that really has like an urge to have a question answered. I'd love to do a reading about it. So put a comment about it and I'll do it. If I see it, it's a question I can actually do a reading for, I will do it. I'm excited. So thank you for being here, and hopefully you'll be at my next reading, or you'll check out my other videos. But either way, thank you so much for spending time and putting effort into my channel that I put effort into just by being there and watching and listening. I really appreciate you. Bye. Welcome, pile 2. If you chose this card of awareness, which is number 4, then this is your reading. Put that over there. You might not be able to see it, but I'll bring it out at the end and put it with the rest of everything. So just a quick smoke cleanse of my space and my cards, just so we can have a fresh canvas for pile 2. All right, pile 2. I'm going to go ahead and pick your oracle cards. So the question, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I got very animated in the last reading there. So I was talking really fast probably, and so then my throat starts to Be like, hey, lady. Okay, sorry. So, the question is, what lesson is the universe trying to help you learn? And so if you could just give permission or consent for me to do a reading for you, and that could be saying, hey, spirit team, go ahead and talk to her spirit team, or however you do that, or however you think of that. If you would do that, that would be great. And I'm gonna focus on picking these so I can put them to the side. And yeah, I'm excited about this topic. Oh, and I was telling pile 1 at the end that if you have a question you'd like me to do a reading, put in the comments and then I could do a video of that. And that would be really cool. So I would love to do that if you have a good question. I'm not going to pick one that doesn't like resonate with my vibe. So like, I don't do like twin flame stuff really. So that doesn't really feel like one that I feel like I have the right experience for. And I actually listened to, oh gosh, I'm gonna forget. Is it Divine Empress 333, I think? Anyway, she does a lot with twin flames and relationships, and she's just, I really enjoy her talking, and I'll like put that on, and she's a good reader too, so you might check that out if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, what else was I doing? Okay, we're gonna just do that for now, and these are our cards, and then let's go ahead with your tarot pile 2 and see what we see. Okay, so pile 2, what lesson is the universe helping you learn? And this is the Emperor card, which is a boss card. I really like this card too. It's got like an interesting claw bear head scarf, but it's not like a bear, it's like a something, because I don't actually condone killing a bear to make a headscarf cloak, but let's pretend that's like Game of Thrones time. I know it's not like a real world, but anyway, back in the gladiator days or something where they needed that bear to stay warm. Oh, and the devil. I knew you were gonna get this card pile too. I'm not sure why. I think because I thought that is why, because the Emperor in this deck looked like the devil to me. And I was like, oh, the devil. And then I was like, no, that does not say the devil, that says the Emperor. So that's fascinating. With the Emperor and the devil, that's pretty intense. Very cool. Okay, I'm excited. Let's keep going. Put all them out and I'll tell you what I see. But Emperor with the devil. Well, first Emperor card. You know, I need more cards out before I start postulating. All of a sudden I'm like remembering all my big vocabulary from like high school, and it's funny because I have this problem where I had this, anyway, surgeries happened, and then after the surgeries I noticed that I forget words a lot when like I never did that in my past. I was so good at just remembering words and being able to say my vocabulary. So today for some reason it's coming right out of my mouth like I normally would talk, like an old man with a book and a pipe from like the 1800s. That's how I feel like I don't know how I learned vocabulary like that. Okay, anyway, maybe some of that has something to do with you too. Maybe you've been feeling in a fog, or like you can't hear your inner voice, or like you're not connected. King of Wands. I do think you're very powerful, pile 2. Whatever that means to you, you have the Star, which is the wish fulfillment card. You're very powerful in the sense that you are a very strong, solid energy. And it's not ego born. It almost comes from, it's like almost weariness of like, almost like you've seen more than like whatever age you are, it's like you've seen, oh, I'm done with this pile. You've seen more than many people your age. Maybe it is harder for you to connect with people your age because of that. Excuse me. King of Wands with the Star. That might be also, for some of you, that could be like what you're working towards, is to feel that type of steady solidness and groundedness of being like, this comes from a place that is not ego. This comes from a good, healthy place. You have King of Wands again next to each other. This is what I'm talking about, Pile, too. Like, I felt like you're very powerful. Like, I would like to be your friend. Like, it's like this energy that is so solid. I don't know how else to explain it. Sometimes I feel like my energy is like, I thought fireflies, but I don't think they move fast enough. But you know, like the flickering of fireflies, like sometimes I feel like I'm not solid. I'm all like, I feel like you have this solidity. And if you don't, then I feel like that is maybe something you desire, or something, or whatever's going on in the universe is helping you to build that solid. Because the Emperor is just such a boss energy, right? But the Devil is like feeling like you're stuck, like, but it can be about like you recognizing, oh, I am the reason I'm stuck, or I have the shackles on me. I just have to take my hands up, or I just need to do this thing. Like, it's me, that I'm literally standing in my own way. I think I'm stuck when I'm really not. This is it. Okay. 2 of Swords. Yeah, which also can be like being blind, not seeing something. And it could be not seeing something because you're using like your instincts. But in this, it feels like being blinded to this idea of being like, you think you are, it's a better word than stuck. It's like you think there are no options. That's the energy. Like, there are no options. And actually there are more than, there's so many choices, kind of a thing. You're seeing like, okay, there's only A or B and those are my only choices to make. And actually there's like option C that you just haven't figured out because you think that you're tied to this thing, or you don't see a way around it, or you don't see a way through something. And so you think, okay, well, these are my only options, and there's some other option. Okay, King of Wands twice. Let's talk about that before I move on. Hold on one second. There's this deck's guidebook is really different than like their interpretations. I'm really enjoying them, so I am going to actually read really quickly from this to myself for these cards, even though it's not the same, because I like, okay, yeah, so King of Wands is like entrepreneur vibe, let's say, like businessman, but like think of businessman in all decades of our reality, right? Like, so businessman in the 50s, we kind of get what that is, but like the idea of businessman, like in gladiators, would have been a gladiator age, right? Like Roman Empire would be someone who it's just like different in each decade, basically. So I don't know why that matters, but the Emperor, because Emperor and gladiator, yeah. Okay, so the Emperor is also like this boss leader vibe. So you've got boss energy across here. Devil Star, 2 of Swords. So like you are making a choice between 2 things, possibly 2. That could be. But yeah, leader, visionary, entrepreneur, natural leader, visionary, entrepreneur. Like, such powerful energy. Let's keep going. Okay. All right, pile 2. What is the universe helping? Yes, so the universe is helping you see that you're not actually stuck to just these 2 options. 6 of Swords, movement, transition. You know, I did have a thought, and I was thinking about like, you know how like we have the construct of gender, we say female, male, and then there's people who say, no, I'm non-binary, or they don't prescribe to being one or the other. That's a feeling too, like, and this is just, again, I just use examples. If they come to my mind, I'm going to say it out loud, and it might have nothing to do with you, and that's okay. But like someone who is like, oh, well, do you like girls or do you like boys? And you're like, no, I like both. There's a third option, right? Like, or the Dene people, what is it? I don't want to ruin this and say it wrong. just forgot. They believe a third gender, and I can't remember what it's called. It's really beautiful that there isn't that people that are born maybe with both ovaries and testes, so intersex, or someone who feels like they are, you know, maybe born in the wrong body. These types of things, there's like room for that in that culture historically, and I cannot remember what it's called. So now I'm just butchering it, and I'll try to leave a link so you guys can all go learn about that if you don't know, because it's so beautiful. So anyway, okay, so again, this feeling of like transition movement, like not of recognizing maybe there isn't just two options. And Two of Swords next to Two of Swords, really? What is going on? So you have that twice. Interesting, okay. So I don't know if this is like the universe is like just confirming, or the universe is like, you're not getting it, you're not getting it. Okay, we'll pull your oracle, that should help. Okay, you got two of these sacred, what is it, sacred destiny oracle cards? Okay, so you've got openness, and opportunity. Cool. Openness and opportunity. It does feel like, again, like if you only see two sides of something, and they're like, whoa, there's so much more opportunity. You have moons, you have full moon and crescent moon. It's like there's so many phases of the moon. There's so many opportunities that you're not seeing. Or you are becoming aware of this currently, and that is why you're finding this, and this is confirmation for you. Angels, yay! I love that for you, Paolo, too. That's so beautiful. Put that right here over the Devil. Just you have returned to joy. We are here to experience joy. Yeah. Whatever maybe you have kept. Okay, so remember I was saying, like, if you've ever met, or if you are someone who had to grow up too fast, sometimes they have like this like little old person vibe when they're like 10, and it's like this solid energy that they should have, this like kind of energy maybe, but they don't. And I'm not saying this super great, but it's this idea of if you did have to grow up too fast, return to joy. Like the message is saying like, hey, we want you to play more. Like play. There's so many more opportunities. There's so many more choices than you are aware of. There's so many more options than you realize. That's what I keep hearing. But play. And play as an adult can look different, obviously. But like, I still really love laughing, and I like playing board games with my family. And my brother just got me into some video games, which I did not know they were like movies. It's crazy. But just maybe find something to play for a second. That's a message I'm getting, so I just told you. Okay. Oh, cool. These are just picture cards, so I get to use them for my own interpretation. They're just words. What did that say? It's French, so I'm not going to be able to read that. Maybe if you're French, you can... I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's probably way out of frame. Anyway, I feel like I just immediately thought about like tattoos. Excuse me. When I get tattoos, they all mean something. They are either like memorials or reminders to myself. And this is on this person's back, and my first tattoo was on my back to kind of remind me. And I feel like this is confirming to me that like the angels have your back. You have guardian angels watching out for you and helping you. And if you see a lot of white butterflies this summer, depending on where you live, but any kind of butterfly, that's like your angels being like, hey, we're here with you too, and we got your back. If you, oh no, what was I gonna say? I think I was gonna say, anyway, some of this will resonate and some of it won't, and if it doesn't, just leave it. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. If you looked at this card and it reminded you of a painting that hung in your aunt aunt's hallway when you used to visit her as a kid, that's what it means. So please take that. Use your own intuition and psychic abilities and like read the cards with me. So if something stands out to you differently, it is that. And I want you to see it that way because that's so important. You have this picture. I just feel like, again, with openness, I just heard like open book, open book, open book, peace, being peaceful with that. Like, being peaceful. Maybe that's what it is. Like, it's so in pile 1, it was a lot about like recognizing your light and letting it be available and seen. So it feels like this person, whoever's watching this, is the person who already figured that out. You already unshackled yourself, or you're about to, or the universe is trying to help you do that. To unshackle, to get, because your energy is so powerful and so solid. And then it's just like openness. Don't be afraid to be open. Don't be afraid to let people see you. There's blindfolds in both of these because the Two of Swords is always a blindfolded person. But it can also be like seeing with, like, not seeing with your eyes, seeing with your intuition. Okay, keep going. So I'll just spit out what I think and hear and see, and then take what works and ignore what doesn't. And you have this open chest. Again, I feel like you need to play. Where's the play card? Return to joy. Like, maybe if you love to Nerf like spray guns, go get those spray water guns and play with someone. Like, do that thing that, get a slip and slide. A friend of mine had a slip and slide birthday and it was so great, and it was like, that's amazing, such a good idea. Go to the pool and make your partner watch you do handstands for 50 minutes. I don't know, but like, do something. It doesn't have to be something you enjoyed as a child, but that same sense of like giggly happy, that's the vibe. Giggly happy. Play with it. Open a toy chest and like see what's inside. Look at some of your old stuff. Setting sail goes with the Six of Swords, like this movement. Again, like something's transitioning. You have rising. Something's rising, transitioning. Yeah, something's opening up here. This is opening up. This is opening up. This is rising, setting sail. The sail is opening. There's something about that too. Like taking off that blindfold. Like in this picture, she's like, okay, taking off my blindfold. Seeing that there's more than one option here. Seeing there's more than two options. Seeing that I have more choices than I can even imagine. And then you have the card, yes. Yes, more than you can even imagine. Sweet. Yay, pile 2, you're really cool. I feel that, like, if you were like a human that I knew, your energy would probably feel really pleasant to be around. That's the vibe I'm getting. And pleasant is not, pleasant to me is like nerve soothing, nervous system soothing kind of vibe. And if that does not at all sound like you, then hopefully you left this pile right away because you knew it wasn't for you, or you recognize that that is you and that is literally who you are working on being, but you maybe didn't know how to let that out or be in that. Anyway, cool. Really, really excited about this. I'm gonna take one more of these. Oh, awareness. Your card awareness, which again, to me, I'm not even reading it. I don't need to. To me, this, like, again, it's about opening up and being like seeing, being aware. So in all the ways that what awareness brings. So if you have if you are already aware of this and you know what I'm talking about, then this is just confirmation, and it's the universe being like, yes, this is literally what we've been talking and helping you with, and we have your back. And you can just take a big sigh and be like, yes, cool. Awareness also could be like recognizing where you are and where you want to be and making a plan to move in that direction. Sorry, I just dropped these and then put them away. But you have the Temperance card, which can be patience, and you have Three of Cups, celebration, but I'm just feeling like, yeah, what this is so positive and so grounding, that you really balance things. Balance is so cool. I'm constantly working to be a more balanced person. And I feel like that's something that the universe is helping you learn to be, recognizing that there's these kind of opposing energies and you can be both and have both and do both. And 3 of Cups, celebration. So celebrate yourself. If you haven't celebrated one of your wins in a while, take yourself out or go have, I don't know, do a celebration. Maybe you do like fun themed, kids themed party or karaoke, but do something that feels fun and celebrate yourself. Even if the win was just like saying no to someone or eating healthy one day, or I don't even know, like just a small win is really important to celebrate those too. But that's what I'm getting. So pile 2, if you have an idea for a question, put a comment down below. If this resonated and you want to share why, please let me know in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and always appreciate a subscribe or share, whatever people do when they think something's great. And if you're just here for this one time, thank you for being here for this one time. I super appreciate it, and it's fun, and hopefully these messages reach the right people. So pile 2, you're cool. I'm excited for this. I wish I could know what happens next. All right, pile 2, bye. Hey, pile 3, if you chose this card, fulfillment, number 36, then this is your reading. Put that over here and I'll bring it back towards the end. And I've shuffled the deck, so I'm just gonna do a quick smoke cleaning of the space and myself, just so you can see that we're starting with a fresh canvas in between readings. So, all right, pile 3, thank you for being here. I'm excited to do this reading. The question is, what lesson is the universe helping you learn? And it's been really cool so far, so I'm excited to hear what your reading will bring. So I'm going to do your oracle cards and pick them all and then just put them to the side, and then we'll go from there. So please give consent, permission for messages for your team to speak to my team, however you see that. I feel like you need another one of these, so I'm going to keep going. However you see that or deem that, but if I could have permission, consent to read for you. And I thank my spirit team in advance for helping me speak clearly and see things clearly. So for pile 3, what is the universe helping them learn? They're getting a lot of these ones. All right, okay. Pile 3. I'm losing my voice because I got really animated in the last 2 videos, so, but now it feels a little better. So now my voice is not as squeaky and froggy as it was. So good, thank you, throat, for pile 3's reading. I get to sound like a person. Okay, oh yeah, this V-steak for pile. Thank you. Oh, did you get 2? You did. You get 2. Okay. All right, pile 3. Let's do this. So now I'm going to do the tarot, and then we'll do these up ends. So pile 3, what lesson is the universe helping you learn? If it doesn't resonate, again, it's not for you. It's a general reading, so some of these things might be for a very specific person that finds this, and I truly believe that if it's meant to find you, you find it. That is my new thing. If it's yours, it won't pass you by. So it's not my new thing, but it's a thing that I'm really focused on lately. So, okay, pile 3, you have Princess of Wands, which was the same exact card in the same place in pile 1. So there might be some messages in pile 1 for you. And then you've got the 10 of Wands. So Princess of Wands is the page, and the 10 of Wands. Page of Wands. Interesting. Learning when to put something down, learning when to say no, trusting yourself to know what's good for you. Okay, you've got 3 of Cups. That was in pile 2. And King of Swords. Some type of celebration about like a communication, a message that came. Did you get some kind of information? Pile 3. Oh, I didn't even. 6 of Pentacles. Generosity, giving, sharing. The Magician, which was in pile 1 as well. Okay. So yeah, pile 1, and you might have things to talk about. Pile 3. Okay, thank you. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords, coming in quick, happening quick, some type of communication. And the Hierophant, some kind of legal communication, a contract, interesting, some kind of signing of a contract. How is the universe helping you then? Contract stuff. All right, let me think about this. Okay, learning to trust yourself, to put down a burden, a completion of a cycle, putting the burden down. You've been carrying something, and maybe you recognize it's not your responsibility to take accountability for it anymore. And then celebrating that you maybe spoke your truth or you communicated something clearly. You know, when you get like a message on the weekend from like a boss being like, can you put some time on the calendar to talk on Monday? And then you think about, oh gosh, what did I do wrong? Maybe that's just me, but I know it's not. It's almost like this feeling of like, maybe you've learned to be like, like if that is the case, and I'll deal with it Monday, but there's some idea of like putting it down on the week, some kind of like learning to trust that you did what you needed to do, trusting in yourself to be able to say like, I don't have to deal with that right now. I'm not going to give my energy to it. So that's just an example, but that was kind of the energy I felt like. Yes, I could go into a spiral of anxiety, or I can just be like, not mine to deal with right now. I will talk to them on Monday when I'm back on the clock. So boundaries. Maybe the universe is trying to help you learn boundaries, which is so challenging. I think this is interesting because he has 4 hands in this card. And I did get this feeling of like saying no more often. So you might be someone who juggles too many things because you take too much responsibility for stuff. So definitely again about like boundaries. 6 of Pentacles is the generosity too, like this, the generosity with the Magician. You might be really generous with your time and your skills. Like, let's say you're an electrician and everyone that is friends with anyone in your life will call you if they need like a fix, and maybe they're not offering to pay, which is a bummer. And maybe you can financially do that, but still reciprocity would be important in some form. But anyway, so something like that where you might be very generous with your skills and your tools and your abilities, your time. If you're a therapist, you might listen to people or not even a therapist, and people just end up telling you all their business and you're a listener. But there's definitely something about the universe wanting you to like like, oh, okay, another example would be like every time you get a text or a phone call or an alert, you immediately respond. Maybe don't do that so much. That's the idea of like boundaries. Knight of Swords and the Hermit. Oh, that says the Hermit. I always say Hierophant on this card. I don't know why it always reminds me of that. It's not Hierophant, it's Hermit, which means with the Knight of Swords, maybe you were quickly like, this might be a quick lesson learned. Like you might become the teacher really quick. Like this might be an overnight, like you just, like you've been putting in some kind of effort and then you're going to see this. It's going to completely remind you of something that you already knew, or remind you, or just be the sign you needed to be like, that's correct. That's right. That is the thing. I just need to have better boundaries or whatever. It's like that. It's like going to be a quick click. You're like, I get it. Keep snapping. Okay, that's my first thoughts. Let's go into the oracle cards. Oh, no way. If these are both the same. Okay, I mean, it's not super crazy in the sense that like it's from the same deck, but these are exactly the same two cards from pile 2. And I did shuffle couple times, so I'm gonna go with this. I think that's interesting. Moon, moon, moon. Openness and opportunity. So you might actually have a message in all 3 piles, because you have these cards were in pile 1 and these were in pile 2. It's kind of throwing, it's just magic. You just have magic. So that's exciting. Openness and opportunity. Oh, that's an interesting thing. If it's hard for you to say no, because you're like, well, I need to be more open, maybe start seeing, okay, yeah, so there could be more of a analysis of whether you're doing something because you feel like you need to be open to a new experience, or it's going to bring a good opportunity to you. And if it doesn't feel like either of those things, like it doesn't feel like it would be you being open to it would bring you a good new opportunity to learn from, then maybe you can say no. So maybe you've been a little bit too all over the place. Not too all over the place, but spread thin. But you like being social probably. And if you don't like being social, then you're definitely like needing to recharge your battery here. Or if people are taking advantage of your skill set again and not giving you like something back for it, just so that there's like a energetic reciprocation. Let me keep going because I'm not quite sure. Concealed power. Give birth to the wonder of revelation. Concealed power. Pile 1 or pile 2? Concealed power, learning how to use your power, learning how to say no. And so maybe, okay, so this thing that's been repeating in my head for over and over is that boundaries aren't mean. So maybe you need to hear that pile 3. Having boundaries isn't mean. Setting boundaries isn't mean. Having boundaries isn't mean. Boundaries aren't mean. There's power in having boundaries, and it's not mean to have boundaries. You're not mean. If that was helpful, well, let me know. But that has been in my head over and over and over. Vows. You take things really seriously if you commit yourself to something. So I could see that it'd be hard for you to say no after saying yes to something. Something here. I'll come back to that. Farm. You might be someone who wishes that you were literally just like not in the city and you're living in the city, or like you wish you were just quiet. There could be a vibe of like being overwhelmed by too many. My brother and I make this joke a lot. Too many noises and now I'm a bitch. sometimes it's like too much stimulation, overstimulation, and you like get irritable. All right, let's see what these are. These are just picture cards. Oh, interesting. Okay, you've got this person thing. Little creepy. Looks like something not cool. Like negative, like hateful thoughts coming to dinner. Let's see. Protection. Protection from negative thoughts. This is like Queen of Pentacles energy to me. So blossoming. If you allow your power, learn to trust yourself. Boundaries aren't mean. Okay, this was also in one of the bios. I don't know, but it's something quickly moving you forward. With the Knight of Swords too, which could, again, it could be like you're getting some kind of message in writing. There could be something that comes to you in writing that is going to trigger you to feel like some of your, like that you need to make a boundary, and it's going to make you feel very, very, very stressed out to do it possibly. And this is your sign to have boundaries. They're not mean. It's just, that's all I keep hearing. So, okay, this was also in one of the piles. So those came out in a chunk. And this was like, again, there's this is, look at this eye, like this feeling of like, you're bad, you did something wrong, like you're being watched, or you're thinking of yourself negatively, or other people are thinking about you negatively. And like, you're just gonna sleepwalk off of a tall cliff or castle. Like if you spiral into that, and you're gonna think the worst and just like drag yourself off that. So like, here's protection from those thoughts. So the universe is helping you learn that just because you have a thought about it doesn't mean it's a real thing. And again, all about the stuff I keep saying about boundaries. Sunshine girl and fierce. Oh, I love that, pile 3. Yeah, you're this person. If you feel like you've lost your sunshine girl fierceness, and whether you're male, female, non-binary, whatever, it doesn't matter the gender that's on this card, that feeling of being full of not even happiness, because happiness is very hard sometimes, but that feeling of like fierce curiosity and openness and like, oh, I wanted to look at that vows and the hermit. There's another theme that ran through all the readings too, which is like this. There's a part of you that you've kept hidden. And whether that was because you were protecting it or what, it's like now it's okay to bring the sunshine girl fierce back out. Like you will protect them. And your team is protecting them. And you won't feel fulfilled until you're able to show up as that person that you are. And that might be someone who doesn't always want to be social, and that might be someone who has to say no more, and that's really hard. Then there was like that celebration of a message. So again, I keep getting that feeling. Let me pick a couple more of these. Team, can you help me for pile 3? Like, what's the thing with the vows and the hermit? And is there any other message or information, confirmation here? The Lover's card. Fulfillment and the Lover's card. The Lover's card is really about making decisions and having a choice. Trusting yourself to put things, trusting yourself to have boundaries. Again, with Lovers, trusting yourself in your relationship. High Priestess. With the Lovers. High Priestess. Give me a second. Because High Priestess, it's like you were hermit. You were like being really like solo and just kind of spending time by yourself to protect yourself. And if you learn these boundaries and you learn to be able to say no, and you vow to yourself, you make the pact with yourself, like, I am not going to cross my own boundaries. Like, I'm going to have, and do one at a time so you don't overwhelm yourself maybe. You'll feel so much more fulfillment that way. You'll feel so much more like yourself that way. Feel more in love with yourself that way. Is that another eye? It is. Some of you might have some psychic ability. Like, I think everybody has psychic abilities, just like I think everybody has OCD on the continuum. If we're on a continuum, and then there's people who are like severely struggling with something, and people who probably you never would notice any of these behaviors because they're so on this far side. Sorry, can you even see my hands? Severe struggling, no symptoms at all. Like, we're all somewhere in between here. And some of you might be scared, I don't know. Some of you might have some fears around your own ability to intuit things, or your own inner voice that's like whispering to you about stuff, or knowing things about stuff. There's something with the third eye, or seeing, again, pile 2. But you're safe. You're safe. You're protected. And this is not a negative thing. If you don't like it, you do not have to like even entertain it. And it doesn't have to be in your life. But if it is something that you're interested in at all, like, you know, we all have ability to use our instincts and use our brain and our senses at the same time to kind of come up with understanding about things. So maybe just some confirmation or some encouragement to, if that's something that you're attracted to, the idea of that, then, you know, to look into that more, the openness of that there is an opportunity here for you to strengthen your own. And that's, yeah, with boundaries. So the more boundaries that you're able to have, the more space you'll have to be able to open up and be able to develop this type of seeing. When you're working on a level of people pleasing, or you're working on a level of being afraid to upset someone, or feeling like you're too spread thin, you don't have the energy to use those other senses, be intuitive, like go with your gut, especially if you've trained yourself to kind of like go against your gut to make other people happy. Okay, pile 3. Cool. Thank you for being here. Pile 3, if there is a question that you would like me to do a reading on for you, please give me a comment. I would love to hear. And if it resonates with me as far as like my vibe, I will totally do a reading on it. I think I mentioned in one of the readings, or maybe it was the beginning, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure I would do anything about twin flames. I'm just like not the reader for that. And I mentioned, I think it's Divine Empress 333 does a lot of twin flame readings, and she's really lovely. So I would go look at her videos if that's something you're interested in. I don't feel like that's my like skill set. So, okay, pile 3, how cool. This is fun. Thank you for being here and letting me do that. And again, if you like it and want to give me a thumbs up or subscribe, comment, share, all those lovely things that help people feel like their channel is being received. But no matter what, just the fact, if you did come and this is your only time, I just really appreciate it. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you're say no more and have good boundaries. You deserve to have boundaries. Boundaries aren't mean. Okay, bye pile 3. Thanks for being here.